Somewhere on Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, there is a stone that should not be there. It weighs 6 tons. It sits at the very centre of Stonehenge. And for over 100 years, archaeologists were certain they knew where it came from. They were wrong.
In August 2024, scientists cracked open its mineral structure.
It came from northeast Scotland, from a region called the Orcadian Basin, roughly 705 kilometres away.
That's like walking from London to the south of France. And it happened around 4,500 years ago.
Before the wheel had reached Britain, before metal tools, before writing. Incredibly, a community of Stone Age farmers moved a 6-tonne rock the length of the country and placed it, with precision, at the exact heart of one of the most sophisticated structures ever built by prehistoric humans. Here's how we know, and why it changes everything we thought we understood about ancient Britain. Construction at Stonehenge began around 3100 BC, and it wasn't stone at all to start with. Neolithic labourers, using only antler picks, dug a massive circular ditch and bank. Then cut 56 pits inside it, now known as the Amesbury Holes. Excavations have found the cremated remains of over 150 people buried there, making it one of the largest known late Neolithic cemeteries in Britain. Before Stonehenge was anything else, it was a place of the dead. The Stonehenge most people picture came later, between 2600 and 2500 BC, when massive sandstone boulders called sarsens were erected, some weighing 25 tons each. Dragged from West Woods in Wiltshire, roughly 26 kilometres away, using nothing but timber sledges, rollers and rope. The builders then carved raised pegs, called tenons, into the tops of the uprights, and matching sockets, called mortises, into the lintels, locking multi-ton stones together exactly the way a carpenter joins timber. The tallest trilithon stood roughly 10 meters high and weighed over 40 tons. This is Stone Age engineering, treating solid rock like wood. Then there are the bluestones, the smaller stones nestled among the sarsens, traced to the Preseli Hills. Against all odds, Neolithic Britons moved dozens of these multi-ton stones across rivers and valleys, likely using sledges over land and rafts along the coast, all the way to Salisbury Plain. Raising stones this size took people, hundreds of them, and archaeologists have actually found where many were living while the work happened. 2 miles from Stonehenge lies Durrington Walls, one of the largest Neolithic settlements ever discovered in Britain. Excavations led by archaeologist Mike Parker Pearson uncovered timber houses there dating to around 2600 BC, the exact period the sarsens were being raised, along with enormous quantities of feasting debris. Some estimates suggest it housed up to 4,000 people at its peak. Right beside it stands Woodhenge, a timber circle aligned with the same solstices as Stonehenge. Parker Pearson has proposed that Durrington Walls, built from wood, represented the world of the living, while Stonehenge, built from permanent stone, represented the world of the dead. And then there's the altar stone. In 2024, researchers at Curtin University, led by a PhD student, analyzed the stone's microscopic mineral grains. "750 kilometers. No other megalith moved this far anywhere in Neolithic Europe. The most likely route involved boats hugging the coastline, because dragging a 6-ton stone across the Scottish... That means Neolithic Britain had maritime transport capable of moving multi-ton cargo across what today would be several different regions. This connects to something archaeologists found back in 2002, just 3 miles from Stonehenge, the grave of a man now known as the Amesbury Archer, buried around 2300 BC with more grave goods than any other early Bronze Age burial in Britain, including the earliest gold objects ever found in England. His story is remarkable. Long before the altar stone discovery, we already knew Stonehenge was pulling people in from across the European continent. So why go to all this trouble? Nobody knows for certain, but there are serious theories. Stonehenge aligns precisely with the sun, stand at its center on the summer solstice, and the sun rises directly over the heel stone. This has led many archaeologists to believe it functioned as a kind of calendar, tracking the seasons for a farming society that depended on getting planting and harvest timing right. There's also a healing theory, based on an unusually high number of skeletons found nearby showing serious illness or injury. And in 2013, researchers discovered that many of the Preseli bluestones actually ring like bells when struck, a phenomenon called a lithophone. Tests at Stonehenge itself found the bluestones there still produce the same resonant tones today, raising the genuine possibility that these stones were chosen for their sound, not just their appearance. But the theory gaining the most ground since 2024 is unification. Welsh bluestones, local sarsens, and a Scottish altar stone, all combined at one sacred site in southern England. Some archaeologists now believe Stonehenge wasn't a local monument at all, but a deliberate symbol built from pieces of the whole of Britain, uniting communities who may never have met in person.
Construction continued for well over 1,000 years, until around 1600 BC.
And the mystery didn't end when the building stopped. In the early 17th century, the royal architect Inigo Jones was sent by King James I to investigate the site, and concluded, wrongly, that it must be a Roman temple, since he assumed ancient Britons were far too primitive to have built it themselves. A century later, the antiquarian William Stukely surveyed the stones more carefully, and was the first to formally record that the monument aligns with the summer solstice sunrise, a genuine breakthrough. Even though he also helped popularize the idea that the Druids built it. They didn't. By the time the Druids appear in the historical record during the Iron Age, Stonehenge in the 12th century, medieval writers went further still, claiming the wizard Merlin flew the stones from Ireland. Because even then, the truth seemed less believable than magic.
Today, Stonehenge is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing over 1 million visitors a year.
Twice annually, at the solstices, English Heritage opens the stones themselves for tens of thousands of people to walk among them.
And watch the same sunrise Neolithic Britons tracked 5,000 years ago. We still don't know exactly why they built it. But thanks to a single study in 2024, we now know the ambition behind it was even greater than anyone imagined. It wasn't a local monument built with local stone. It was built by the whole of ancient Britain.
If you found that as fascinating as I did, subscribe.
Because we're going deep into the mysteries of ancient Britain, and there's a lot more still to uncover.